Take this over. Put one shot there. All right. You like the fire also? No. Take flowers. Bol Sri Gajanan Swami ki jai. Devotees, as we prepare to begin our service, let's join together in opening prayer. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari हमें दया करो। गुरुर ब्रह्मा गुरुर विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम सिद्धि बुद्धि प्रदे देवी भुक्ति मुक्ति प्रदायिनी मंत्र मूर्ते सदा देवी महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार वरनो रघुबर बिमल यश जोदायक फलचार। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मुहि हरहु कलेश विकार। सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। हे नाथ मम संकट हरो हरि। बोलिए श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय। बैठ जाइए। Devotees, this morning let me apologize for the absence of your spiritual leader, Pandit Dr. Umesh Prasad, who is a bit indisposed. The service will continue, and as we normally do after invocation, we join together in our chowpais. Take flowers again. प्रवेश नगर कीजिए सब काज। हृदय राखी कौशलपुर राजा। रथ चरिसिया सहित तू भाई। चले बनहि अवध ही जाके सुमिरन तेरी नाश नाम शत्रुहन वेद प्रकाश विश्व भरन पोषण कर जोई कर नाम भरत अस होई जब तेरा राम जब तेरा ब्याही घर आई नवनीत मंगल मूद बधाई सखा धर्म में असरथ जाकी जीतन कहन कहूँ की जय राम श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम राम जय जय सीताराम जय जय राम वह शोभाजु समाज सुख कहत न बने खगेश वर्णय शारद शेष सुति सोरस जान महेश सिया पति रामचंद्र की जय शरणम बंदो पवन कुमार खलबन पावक ज्ञान घना जासु हृदय आगार बस ही राम शरचप धर 12 अक्षर मंत्र. That 12 syllable mantra, devotees, most powerful. We concentrate on Vasudeva Bhagwan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate 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 Vasudevaya. वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते 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 वासुदेवाय बोले श्री वासुदेव भगवान की जय. Offer the flowers. And devotees will begin puja, and everybody can take part as the sutas perform the actual offerings. You all can follow in your minds, wherever you may be. Take some rice. So we worship Pancha Devata, which is what we normally do. Lord Ganesh, followed by Devi, Shivaji, Vishnu Bhagwan, Suraj Narayan Swami, and then again Dev. So concentrate. Repeat in your own way, put in your minds. Om Gananang Tva Ganapating Gvam Havamihi Priyanang Tva Priyapating Gvam Havamihi Nidhinang Tva Nidhipating Gvam Havamihi Vaso Mama Ahamajani Garbhadam Tumajasi Garbhadam Om Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Chama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadha Namostute जय त्वं देवी चामुंडे जय भूता पिहारिणी जय सर्वगते देवी कालरात्रि नमोस्तुते. ओम नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानंदमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपो योगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुति ज्ञानगम्य. ओम तदेव लग्नं सूर्यनं तदेव ताराबलं चंद्रबलं तदेव विद्याबलं दैवबलं तदेव लक्ष्मीपते तेङ्घ्रिवगं स्मरामि. ओम जपा कुसुम संकाशम काश्यपेयं महाद्युतिं तमोरिं सर्वपापहनं प्रणतोस्मि दिवाकरम्. ओम अंग 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 ज्वलित मुखे अरुण माता वरुण पिता शांदिल गोत्र पावकानाम अग्निदेवाय नमोस्तुते. ओम आगच्छ देवदेवेश तेजोराशि जगत्पते क्रियामानां मया पूजां गृहान् सुरसत्यम. ओम नानारत्न समायुक्तं कार्तस्वर विभूषितं आसनं देवदेवेश Pricharitam Pratigrihitam. Offer some rice by Lord Ganesh Murti, Durgama, each one. Om Ganesh Baba, Durga Mata, Mahadev Baba, Satyanarayan Swami, Suraj Narayan Swami, again Devata, by fire, Avahayami, Sthapayami, Pujayami. Right, so you offer water once on each place. Om Varunasyotam Bhanamasi. Varunasya skambha sarjanistu Varunasarita sadanisi Varunasarita sadanamasi Varunasarita sadanmasit Shudhu daksnanam samarpayami. Pass it along the fire and offer it on the leaf. Do it 3 times. Om Shudhu daksnanam samarpayami Sarva Devata Sarva Devi Namo Namaha. Alright, we offer Chandan now. Om Sri Khanda Chandanam Divyam Gandhadhyam Sumanoharam Vilepanam Suraseshtam Chandanam Pratigrihitam. And remember the 3 fingers, put on the Shivlingam. Yeah? Om Namah Shivaya. Om Sri Satyadevaya Namaha. Om Sri Aditya Devaya Namaha. Om Agin Devaya Namaha. Alright. Okay. So flowers now you offer. You have bay leaf, right? Put a bay leaf for Shivaji, Ganesh Baba. Om Bilva Patram Samarpayami. Mallakari Sugandhini Malatyari Nivai Prabhu Maya Hirtani Pujarte Pushpani Pratigrihitam Neem leaf Durgama. Om Namas Chandikaya Pushpam Samarpayami. Om Namah Shivaya Pushpam Bilvapatram Samarpayami. Om Sri Satyadevaya Namah Pushpam Samarpayami. Om Pushpam Samarpayami. Aditya Devaya Namah Brahmagnaye Namah Pushpam Samarpayami. Alright. Offer perfume each place. Gandham Samarpayami. Sarva Devta Sarva Devi Namo Namaha. Incense. Let's light the incense. Pass it on everything 5 times. Om Vanaspati Rasod Bhuto Gandhadhyo Gandha Uttama Agreyang Sarvadevanang Dhupoyam Pratigrihitam Dhupam Samarpayami. Stick it in the luta right there. Alright, so we do Havan. Alright, angle this way. Gayatri Mantra everybody 5 times. Hrihi Om Tat Sat, Hrihi Om Tat Sat, Hrihi Om Tat Sat. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Swaha. Om Prajapatye Swaha Idam Prajapatye Idam Namama. Om Indraye Swaha Idam Indraye Idam Namama. Om Agnaye Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama. Om Somaye Swaha Idam Somaye Idam Namama. Om Bhu Swaha Idam Agnaye Idam Namama. Om Bhuva Swaha Idam Vayave Idam Namama. Om Swaha Swaha Idam Suryaye Idam Namama. Alright, everybody together. Ganganapataye Namah 11 times. Om Ganganapataye Namah Swaha. Om Hrim Shrim Chandikaya Namah 9 times. Om Krim Kaliyai Namah 9 times. Mahalakshmi Mata Bhyo Namo Namah Swaha 6 times. Om Shrim Hrim Saraswatyai Swaha 7 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 12 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Narayanaya Swaha 5 times. Om Sri Suryaye Namah 12 times. Om Namah Shivaya 11 times. Om Sri Agindevaya Swaha. Om Sri Ishtadevaya Swaha. Om Sri Kuldevaya Swaha. Sri Asthandevaya Swaha. Gramdevaya Swaha. Vasudevaya Swaha. Sarvadevata Sarvadevi Bhyo Namo Namah Swaha. Of all. You have belief there, take 5. We do Mitrunjay mantra. At the end of each time, Ya Ambika, you dip belief in the ghee and offer it into the fire. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Vabandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Prostrate along the side. Go ahead. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Vabandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Vabandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Vabandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukam Vabandhanan Mrityur Mukshiyamamritat Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Offer neem leaf into the fire. Om Namah Chandikaya Swaha. Offer some gold ghee sugar mix up and sprinkle it around. Om Sarvadevata Sarvadevi Bhyo Namo Namah Swaha. Alright, Achman. Water around 3 times. Om Sarva Pap Harang Dibyam Gangeyang Nirmalam Jalam Achmanang Cham Yadattam Grahitam Purushotamaha Brahmagnaye Namaha. Achmanam Samarpayami. Take a flower and fan the fire towards the murtis 5 times. Om Banaspati Risod Bhuto Gandhadhyo Gandha Uttama Agreyang Sarvadevanang Dhupoyam Pratigrihitam. Bow to the fire. Dhupam Samarpayami Brahmagnaye Namaha. The Arti lighten. Light it up. Yeah. Alright, we pass Arti around everything. Om Sajam Chavarti Sanyuktam Vahin Yojitam Maya Deepam Grihan Devese Trailukyatim Nirapam Deepam Samarpayami. बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय, जगदम्बा माता की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, सत्यनारायण स्वामी की जय, सूर्य नारायण स्वामी की जय. Prasadam. All right. You have one for Havan there, or Havan one side? Right. Okay. Take from the Ganesh Baba Prasadam. A little bit of it into the fire. Ganganapataye Namah Swaha. Durgama, next one. Om Namah Chandikaya Swaha. Shivaji. Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Satyanarayan Swami. Namo Narayanaya Swaha. Suryanarayan Swami. Aditya Devaya Swaha. Offer one more time. See Mahanyapurna Devi Swaha. Alright, so you hold it up. We offer this to Ganesh Baba, Devi Ma, Ganesh Baba, Durga Ma, Mahadev Baba, Satyanarayan Swami, Suryanarayan Swami, Naivedyam Samarpayami. Om Sharkara Khand Khadyani, Dadhi Chir Hitani Cha, Aharam Bhaksha Bhojam Cha, Naivedyam Pratighitam, Ganganapataye Nama, Uma Maheshwaraye Namo Nama, Satyadevaye Nama, Aditya Devaye Nama, Naivedyam Achmanam Samarpayami. Pass water around it 3 times. Om Boli Shri Gajanan Swami ki jai, Satyanarayan Swami ki jai, Jagadamba Mata ki jai, Umapati Mahadev ki jai, Suryanarayan Swami ki jai. Alright, take the flowers and offer it in front of the respective murtis. Om Pushpanjali Samarpayami, Sarvadevta Sarvadevi Namo Namaha. So devotees, what we are doing here, what we normally do is Panchupachar, 5 offerings basically, as opposed to what we call Shodas Upachar, 16 offerings, the full puja that we do. So on a daily basis or whenever special occasions, people can perform puja in this simple way, which we have been telling you time and again. You know what you can do, you know how to make your offerings. And we also mentioned to you that there are those who would not be able to physically do the puja, but you can do it mansik, in the mind. And remember that these 5 offerings, the inner meaning of it really is to purify the Panchatattva, the 5 elements within the body, 5 koshas, the 5 sheets. So we can go inside, as it were, like an onion. You go beyond the outer layers to go to the inner layer to find that divine. Of course, divinity is within each and every one of us. So the objective really, some of us may, well, puja has different levels. You believe you worship God as a special guest. You honor Him, bathe Him, give Him food to eat. That's okay. That is psychological. But the deeper part of it really is to, really, God doesn't need anything except our love, of course. Patram pushpam phalam tuyam. We have said that time and again. These offerings really well, to help us to go beyond the outer layers. For that Lord is the indweller. He is the indweller. And these 5 aspects we worship on a daily basis. Again, we have mentioned why these 5 Panchadevata. Ganesh Baba symbolizes Vivek, or discriminative power, without which you can't go forward in life. That is very important. Gyan. Devi Ma, Mumukshutva in one sense, that intense longing to be with God. And in another sense, willpower. Devi Durga. Shivaji, the power of Tyag, Vairagya, without which you cannot go forward unless you learn to let go. Nobody could go forward in life. Satyanarayan Swami, Sattva Prakriti, Sattva, the truth, piety, spirituality. And Suraj Narayan Swami, the enlightened intellect. When we worship these 5 aspects, we can't function without these 5 conditions existing inside of us. So these forms of divinity metaphysically represent these conditions that exist inside of us. And ritualistically, when we do the puja, it is actually a journey of going beyond the outer layers, as I said, like the onion, to go to the inner core, tap into these powers that exist inside of us. This is what, in a simple nutshell, as you put it, what puja is really all about. Now, different levels Hinduism has, what most of us, we can see on the surface level. Nothing is wrong, but I keep saying, you can't always change priesthood. You have to climb a little bit, no? You do the same thing, but your understanding becomes different. This is Gyan Bhakti. So you don't do away with the rituals. Rituals are an important integral part of life. But you understand the deeper part of it, what you're doing, why you're doing it. And that goes a long way. And we have said time and again, the Gita says, if you do things without the right understanding, abhidhi purbak, it takes a long time for any fulfillment to come. And if you do whatever you have to do with the right understanding, tatkal, right away, success comes. Understanding is important. Hinduism doesn't sanction too much blind following, especially in this age, Kali Yuga, when there are so many weird things that people make us do. The understanding has to be right. And there is nothing wrong when you are told to do something if you ask in a very civilized manner, why? Nothing is wrong with asking the why. Of the right people, of course, to get the right answer. So, putting it very simply, this is why we say patram pushpam phalam toyam. A flower, a fruit, a drop of water, a grain of rice. Bhagavan says, whatever whoever offers to me, but with love, he partakes of it, as he said personally. But the point here being made, because he is not hungry, he doesn't need anything, he's swatantra, he's independent, he's the creator of everything. These things are done, but for our benefit, because of the inner meaning of it, what it does. So, to put it in another way, we all have 5 sheets, each human being. Annamaya kosh, food sheet. Pranamaya kosh, air sheet. Manomaya kosh, mind sheet. Vigyanmaya kosh, knowledge sheet. And Anandamaya kosh, the blissful sheet. But that is not who you are. That's like a cage in which the bird, Atma, is trapped, as we say, like a bird in the cage. So to get into that inner being, you have to go beyond these 5 layers. And all these are reasons why we are told to fast and maintain certain disciplines, etc. Alright? When we fast, I don't fast for God, I fast for myself. I fast to overcome certain negativities, impurities to go inside. As a matter of fact, it is important to pay attention to the fact that everything I do, it is for my benefit of society. It is not for God. God does not need anything. So when we say fasting 9 Fridays for Durga Ma, you're not doing it for Durga Ma, it's for yourself you're doing it. But to tap into a power inside of you that is symbolized by Durga, willpower. Suraj Narayan 12 Sundays. Not the sun 93 million miles from the earth. How the sun will get whatever you offer? It is the inner sun, the intellect. That is what you tap into. So all these offerings we make have inner significance. And this is why we need to turn inward. Inward. I mentioned to you once, it said, Pritam Tere Tanhai Andar. That Lord is inside of you. He's inside. Not outside. But what you need to do, Ulatadeka Gatamahi, start looking on the inside. And devotees, over and over we keep saying this. You cannot identify what is in the outside unless there is an identification within. You understand what is taking place inside of you. There is that experience, anubhav inside of you. You cannot identify with the outside. So it is about time that we understand this journey is very much inward. So we do not change what we are doing. I want to emphasize that. It's not that we're creating a new puja or new whatever. We are doing what we are told to do, but our understanding must become better. It's like a principle, you keep building up upon it. You don't stay at the same level all the time. This is what Hinduism is all about. So we have been doing many things for years, and it is about time we start to understand at a different level. Okay? Take a flower, we concentrate on Lakshmi Mata. Jai Mahalakshmi Ma. Om Namostestu Mahamaye Sipite Surpujite Shankha Chakra Gadahaste Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Namasya Garura Rudhe Kola Surbhayankari Sarva Papahare Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Sarvagye Sarva Varade Sarva Dushta Bhayankari Sarva Dukhare Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayini Mantra Murti Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Shvetambardhare Devi Nana Lankara Bhushite Jagatschite Jaganmatar Mahalakshmi Namostute Om Lakshmi Karutva Kalyanam Arogyam Sukha Sampadam Mama Shatru Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute Siddheshwari Mahalakshmi Mata Namo Namaha Boli Sri Mahalakshmi Mata Ki Jai. Put the flowers on top by the kalsa. Bow to the frame. Lakshmi Mata devotees, if Durga Ma is what we call Ichha Shakti, Lakshmi Ma is Gyan Shakti, the power of wisdom. And many times when we do puja, we offer 6 coins as offering to Lakshmi Ma, as we say. Why 6? Material wealth and spiritual wealth coexist. In other words, wealth is made up of 2 types, material and spiritual. Most people, when they hear wealth, you think of material things. But we keep saying, no man carries any material thing with him. Not even the body goes with you. These are means towards an end. So material wealth stays here. But spiritual wealth, there are 6 forms why we use the 6 coins. Tranquility of mind, serenity, control of the senses, endurance, faith, and renunciation of selfish actions and desires. These are 6 forms of spiritual wealth. So whereas we need material wealth, we also pray for the spiritual value system to be the master of the material wealth, not to be controlled by it, not to become a slave to it, which is what really happens to many people. They become a slave to the materialism. And Hinduism is so deep. Remember when we do puja, we put up pink flag for Lakshmi Ma. Right? Many people must realize that. Some use red. Hinduism is very symbolic. Red symbolizes materialism in this context. So when I put up a red flag, I'm praying, Ma, give me house, give me land, give me money, give me all this, which inherent, I will say, I believe and go. But when I say, Ma, give me spiritual wealth, white represents spirituality. So if you mix white with red, you get pink. Hinduism, white with red gives you pink. We use pink flag to symbolize, so as we say the divine. We need materialism, but I need, as a matter of necessity, spiritual wealth to control materialism, not to become a slave to it. Man's thinking changes when he gets too comfortable. And if I may just put this point here, it is my firm conviction that in our country, Trinidad, and many places in the world, when affluence becomes the norm, spirituality goes dead, which is what is happening in our country. Since the first oil boom, money flowing more than water, people get obsessed. Up to now, they're still obsessed. And spirituality goes down the drain. Not religiousness. Now, we have plenty of religiousness. People praying plenty and they got to get more material things. But spirituality, the inner value system you just mentioned about there, those things are lacking. Materialism destroys spirituality or drives it away. And you know, they say talk, bring talk. When we read in Ramayana that Kaikeyi asked for Sri Ram to go to the forest for 14 years. and her son Bharat should become king. This is what is symbolized metaphysically. Kaikai represents Rajas Prakriti or materialism. Once materialism is dominant, Sri Ram symbolizes spirituality. Then materialism banishes spirituality. This is what happens to us. And when Sri Ram goes into the forest, that means spirituality is banished. What happened to Ayodhya Puri? Darsha died. Ayodhya Puri was plunged into grief. This is what happens to the body. Ayodhya, the human body. Darsha, the 10 senses. Our conditions change when materialism dominates, when spirituality is absent. I want you to think about this very, very seriously. It is not that materialism not important. We need it to fulfill the hierarchy of needs. But devotees, we become a slave to it. We must be the masters of it. This is very, very important. And you could do what you want. Think about it sometimes, people doing a puja, when you see things bad, you offer some sugar, some fruits, Baba accept it. You feel very good about it. You reach a certain point, you want to offer laddu, peva, nothing wrong with all that. But what is in your mind? I have money now, so I can spend on all this kind of thing. Is that what God wants? Is that what He wants? Nothing wrong putting it, but the intent. Intent. The simplicity goes out of our lives. And we are carried away by these external forms that have no lasting existence. So nobody says not to do it. But don't do it because of you have. Yeah. If you don't have, what will happen? You put yourself at a disadvantage. This is why the Lord leveled the playing field. Patram, pushpam, phalam, tuyam, whatever you could offer. But the attitude must be right. Okay, devotees? So this is on puja. Plenty things can be said on puja. But most importantly, I want to emphasize to you is your attitude. Bhagavan says that. Whatever you offer, it doesn't matter to me. Whosoever offers it, it doesn't matter to me. But your attitude is what is important to me. Your intent is what is important to me. And this is not the first time we are saying this. We all will continue to do puja. Whether mansik, whether vachik, whether upansu. But whichever type of puja we do, the attitude must be right. The intent must be right. And just don't make it blind ritual. Think about what you're doing there. You see puja, mantras, sound vibration, energy. When we do our puja, everything we do here, the sang, the bell, the ghanta, everything, all the sounds we create, dealing with energy. And therefore we don't play the fool with energy. Because energy can destroy us, it can also sustain us. Many of us don't realize how we tinker and trivialize what we do here. Because we're very superficial about it. No. It's about energy. And I dare say Hinduism is the only religion in the world that taps into this kind of energy. We can reach to the highest point if we do things right, or we can sink to the lowest depths if we skylark with it. Don't play games. This is why the scriptures say, be sincere, innocent, straightforward, pure. Understand what you're doing. Okay, devotees? So, I want you to bear that point in mind as you continue to worship as you go through life. And remember from Tuesday, Ganesh Utsav, Ganesh Jayanti. And we will have the normal thing. How many laddus for Lord Ganesh? Some say 5, some say 11, some say 21, some say 108. I say 1,008. Make laddu. Is that what is important? Is that what the focus is upon? I'm saying all this in this context. Navratram is coming up. Same thing. Don't be caught up and obsessed with all these other aspects, devotees. Work on the inside. You can make it, you make it. You make 1,008, no problem. It doesn't matter to Lord Ganesh. It may matter to you, not to Lord Ganesh. 5, 1, none. Ganesh is not hungry. So devotees, all this is part of the preparation for this wonderful period of time that we are now approaching. Ganesh Utsav followed by Pitra Paksh, auspicious time. It's not dead people time, special time to reflect upon the contribution of the ancestors and where we are with respect to our ancestors in our contributions. Followed by Navratra. Then Kartik, Diwali, Govardhan Puja. What a wonderful time coming up, devotees. Many of us have gone through many of those things. We are quite old now. Now, how much have we achieved? I want you to think about it. And perhaps this year, we can make it different. We do the same things, our understanding becomes deeper. Our commitment becomes greater because of understanding. So devotees, prepare yourselves. And I mentioned all this up front because even when we do kirtan, that is vachik, puja. Chanting Lord's name is puja. That is upansu, with in the mind mansik. We do what they call vachik now. We use a voice, the God-given gift of the voice, to praise that Lord. Now devotees, I have always maintained that devotion, kirtan, bhajan is not what we think to be a spectator sport. That you sit down and you spectate. It's participatory. So if you listen carefully, you'll be able to follow. I want everybody to put your voices together. We glorify these aspects that we have worshipped, one by one. We begin with Ganesh, Gajanan Swami. Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gangadhara Shiva Shambhu Nandan. Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka. Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka. Jai Shubha Mangal Dayaka, Vidya Buddhi Pradayaka. Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gangadhara Shiva Shambhu Nandan. He Gangadhara Shiva Shambhu Nandan. O Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka. Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gajavadana Gauri Nandan, Gangadhara Shiva Shambhu Nandan. He Gangadhara Shiva Shambhu Nandan. Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka. Jai Shubha Mangal Dayaka, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका। बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय। Devotees, we glorify Devi. Devi has many names. As a matter of fact, each aspect of divinity carries many names. Each one, they're what they call Sahasranam Path, 1,000 names. So there is something with the number 1,000. Sometimes 12 names are given, 5 names. Shivaji, 11 names. Hanuman Baba, 12 names. The number 12, as we have the Bhara Akshar mantra, is very symbolic and very meaningful, of course. But devotees, each name of the divine represents quality, a certain quality, attitude, etc. They are not different goddesses. Even the different aspect of Devi represent different principle. The name conveys everything to us. So we chant the names. This is the power of Kirtan. Just chant the name and everything works for you. So the names are simple. Shankari Parameshwari Shashi Shekhari Amba. Shankari Parameshwari Shashi Shekhari Amba. Sarveshwari Jagadishwari Maheshwari Amba. Sundari Gunamanjari Shiva Shankari Amba. Mateshwari Shakambhari Bhuvaneshwari Amba. Beautiful names of Devi, devotees. Beautiful, powerful names of Devi. Become absorbed in chanting her name. Shankari Parameshwari Shashi Shekhari Amba. Amba Shankari Parameshwari Shashi Shekhari Jagadishwari Maheshwari Amba. Sarveshwari Jagadishwari Maheshwari Amba. Shiva Shankari Amba. Amba Sundari Gunamanjari Shiva Shankari Amba. Mateshwari Shvetambhari Bhuvaneshwari Mateshwari Shakambhari Bhuvaneshwari शंकरी परमेश्वरी शशि शेखरी सर्वेश्वरी जगदीश्वरी माहेश्वरी अम्बा जगदीश्वरी माहेश्वरी अम्बा सुंदरी गुणमंजरी शिवशंकरी अम्बा शिवशंकरी अम्बा माहेश्वरी अम्बा परमेश्वरी अम्बा जगदीश्वरी अम्बा सुंदरी गुणमंजरी अम्बा सुंदरी अम्बा सुंदरी गुणमंजरी शिवशंकरी अम्बा माहेश्वरी श्वेतांबरी भुवनेश्वरी मातेश्वरी शाकंभरी भुवनेश्वरी अम्बा शंकरी परमेश्वरी शशि शेखरी अम्बा शंकरी परमेश्वरी शशि शेखरी बोली सिया शक्ति जगदम्बा माता की जय। Devotees, simple Shiva Kirtanam. If you listen carefully to the words and try to pick up the tune as we say, it'd be nice if we glorify Bholinath. Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara, Shiva Shankara Rupa Maheshwara Om. Shiva Shankara 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 Om. Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Rupa Maheshwara Om. Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara Rupa Maheshwara Om. Shiva Shankara Shiva Shankara 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 Om. Shiva Shankara 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 Om. Om ka priya Shiva Shankara Om. Om ka priya Shiva Shankara Om. Kailasha priya Shiva Shankara Om. कैलाश प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। नाथ जन प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। हे नाथ जन प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर ओम। हे नाथ जन प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर ओम। बोलो शिव शंकर शिव शंकर शिव शंकर रूप महेश्वर ओम। शिव शंकर 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 ओम। शिव शंकर 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 ओम। ओम प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। ओम प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। कैलाश प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। कैलाश हे कैलाश प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। नाथ जन प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। हे भक्त जन प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर ओम। नाथ जन प्रिय शिव शंकर ओम। शिव शंकर शिव शंकर शिव शंकर रूप महेश्वर ओम। शिव शंकर शिव शंकर शिव शंकर शिव शंकर रूप महेश्वर ओम। शंकर 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 ओम। शिव शंकर 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 ओम। शिव शंकर 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 ओम। बोलिए श्री उमापति महादेव की जय। भगवान श्री सत्यनारायण डिवोटीज, visualize Sanchakra Gada Padma, that form of Bhagwan, and the emblems identify him. Sankha Chakra Gada Padma. Sankha, the conch shell. Chakra, the discus, the spinning wheel as we say. Gada, the mugdar. Padma, the lotus flower in one hand. Lord Vishnu, these four emblems he carries. And if you visualize, there's a piece of hair that is curved coming down on his forehead. If ever one happens to see Lord Vishnu, if that is ever possible for us, on his chest there is a footprint. The footprint of that very, very powerful sage Durvasha. Bhrigu Chinhan. Bhrigu. What happened once it said story that there was a discussion amongst all the devatas as to who is the most compassionate between Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. And Bhriguji, who was well known for his temper. He was chosen to go and test the tree. You can't come to a decision unless there's a test. And very simply put, he went to Brahma, his father, so to speak, and he did something to antagonize his father on purpose. Father became very angry. He went to Lord Shiva, it is said, and he spoke some abusive words. Lord Shiva became very angry. But he went to Lord Vishnu, who was lying on the bed of snakes in the ocean of milk. Now just remember, this is story, all this is symbolic. We don't focus on symbolism right now. Bhriguji went up right where Lord Vishnu was lying and kicked him on his stomach, on his chest. Now to get a kick from someone just like that is something strange. We can't accept that. What would Lord Vishnu do? What was his reaction? Lord Vishnu sat up and, with great reverence, he held on to the foot of Bhrigu and said, "O Holy One, forgive me. I did not see that you were coming. I showed you this disrespect by not getting up to welcome you. And your foot, your tender foot has come into contact with my hard chest. Is it any pain?" And he began to massage the foot of Bhrigu. Lord Vishnu said, and of course this is something to be understood, nothing happens without cause. He said, "O Bhrigu, let this not worry you. It is all part of my plan. Your footprint will be upon my chest. Whenever I manifest myself, the devotees would know this is Bhrigu Chinha, that I am that Supreme Lord who has manifested myself." Of course, it will have other aspects, the compassion, etc. But devotees, Bhrigu Chinha, one of the signs of manifestation. Vishnu Bhagwan. Jai Narayan. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Swami Narayan. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Jai Narayan. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Swami Narayan. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभ हरि ओम पद्मनाभ हरि Swami Narayana Hari Om. Lakshmi Narayana Hari Om. Satya Narayana Hari Om. Jai Narayana Hari Om. Hari शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभ हरि ओम
पद्मनाभ हरि ओम, स्वामी नारायण हरि ओम, सत्यनारायण हरि ओम, लक्ष्मी नारायण हरि ओम, जय जय नारायण हरि ओम, जय नारायण हरि ओम, हरि ओम, हरि ओम, स्वामी नारायण हरि ओम, हरि ओम, जय नारायण।
Devotees, Bhagwan Satyanarayan, we have been hearing time and again, he manifested himself in so many different forms, which we have discussed time and again. The two most powerful manifestations, Bhagwan Sri Ram, Bhagwan Sri Krishna. So, let's glorify Bhagwan Sri Krishna, simple, and then Bhagwan Sri Ram.
गोविंद कृष्ण जय, गोपाल कृष्ण जय, गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय, गोविंद कृष्ण जय, गोपाल कृष्ण जय, गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय, गोविंद कृष्ण जय, गोपाल कृष्ण जय, गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय, 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 कृष्ण 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 जय, कृष्ण 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 जय, गोविंद कृष्ण जय, गोपाल कृष्ण जय, गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय, गोपिका माला हरि प्यारी माई मीरा मन बिहार, गोपिका माला हरि प्यारी माई मीरा मन बिहार, मदन मोहन मुरलीधर कृष्ण जय, कृष्ण जय, कृष्ण जय, कृष्ण जय, कृष्ण 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 जय, कृष्ण 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 जय, हे गोविंद कृष्ण जय, गोपाल कृष्ण जय, गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय, गोपिका माला हरि प्यारी माया मीर बन बिहार, हे गोपी कमाला हरि प्यारी माई मेरा मन बिहार, हे मदन मोहन मुरलीधर कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय कृष्ण जय। राम जय राम जय राम जय। राम जय कृष्ण राम जय राधा राम जय। कृष्ण जय राम कृष्ण जय राधा कृष्ण जय। कृष्ण 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 जय। राम 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 जय। हे गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय। गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय। हे गोविंद कृष्ण जय गोपाल कृष्ण जय गोपाल बाल बाल राधा कृष्ण जय।
Vrindavan, Sri Krishna Chandra ki jai. Devotees, let's do a simple Sri Ram bhajan. I don't know how many of you may remember it, how many of you know it, but let's chant it.
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare। ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन भावरे, ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन भावरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे। तेरी माया की छाया सदा ही रहे, तेरी माया की छाया सदा ही रहे। श्री राम नाम से भव भय बंधन करे, श्री राम नाम से भव भय बंधन करे। ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन भावरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे। तेरी सुंदर सलोनी छवि मन तो हरे, तेरे सुंदर सलोनी छवि मन को हरे। तेरे चरणों में सीता, तेरे चरणों में सीता सदा ही रहे। ओ तेरे चरणों में लक्ष्मी सदा ही रहे। ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन बावरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे। कोई दीपक जलाए कोई पूजा करे, कोई दीपक जलाए कोई पूजा करे। मैं तो लाया हो हाथ प्रभु भक्ति करे, मैं तो लाया हो हाथ प्रभु भक्ति करे। कोई दीपक जलाए कोई पूजा करे, मैं तो लाया हूँ हाथ प्रभु भक्ति करे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम, ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन बावरे, ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन बावरे। हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे हरे राम हरे राम हरे राम हरे।
ओ जपा कर यही नाम मन बावरे. Oh crazy mind, oh crazy mind, chant that name. Japa kar hi naam, hey man bavre, chant that name. That name is so powerful, devotees. Some other time, some other day, we will look at the power of that name. See, prem se, with loving the mind, chant that name. Prema mudita man se kaho, Ram, 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 chant that name. The devotees, little mantras here and there, even though it might be simple, but we have heard, we are hearing time and again from Pony to Mish, you have heard how powerful that name is, what it is really. Chant it. Ram. Japak rahi naam hi man bavri. And why devotees? Ram hai Atma, Atma hai Ram. Ram is Atma. Atma is Ram. Ram hai Paramatma. This is who and what we are, in essence, our true Nitya. So by chanting that name, the power of it, help us come closer and closer to ourselves. So devotees, just a simple message I want to give you. As I mentioned, I've been giving you many messages as we go along. This one is to impact upon the mind really. That what is the purpose of going everywhere? Running all over. Stabilize. One of the bhajan says, Baitha asan jama karke, stabilize in one position. Neem ke alas, jeet kar, overcome that sleep of laziness. Discard all negativities, worldly, mundane things, especially when you sit to pray. When you withdraw from the external, then you see chamatkar, the amazing things, the mysteries of the universe, but within. And to do that, devotees, they say, simple. You know, worry about anybody else's business now, which is what most of us do. Either physically, we do social media, everybody business, but hardly ever do we look at our own selves. Where is that reflection? Where is it supposed to be? Ghat ka karo vichar sadhu. This body is referred to as a ghat, an earthen pitcher. See the kalsa? Kalashasya mukhe Vishnu kanthe rudraha samasataha. Mole tvasya sthito brahma madhye matriganaha smataha. Kokshautu sagara sarve sapta dvipa vasundhara. Rigved, Yajurved, Samveda, Tharvana. Everything within the kalsa. What is that kalsa? This right here. Every one of us. The body. This ghat. So Brahmanand very wisely is telling us, man, why are you wasting time minding other people's business now? Mind your own for a change now. Ghar ka karo vichar. Start thinking, reflecting on this. Yatha pinit tatha brahmandi. As in microcosm, sorry, macrocosm, everything is inside. Follow devotees, I'll give you the simple translation as we go along.
Ghat ka karo vichar sadhu, ghat ka karo vichar re. Ghat ka karo vichar sadhu, ghat ka karo vichar re. Ghat ka karo vichar sadhu, ghat ka karo vichar re. Ghat जमुना त्रिवेणी की धार रे, घट में गंगा घट में जमुना त्रिवेणी की धार रे, घट में नदिया पर्वत सागर, घट में नदिया पर्वत सागर, घट में बाग बहार सरी, घट का करो विचार रे, घट का करो विचार सरी, घट का करो विचार रे। घट में सूरज घट में तारे, घट में चंद्र उजाड़ रे, घट में सूरज घट में तारे, घट में चंद्र उजाड़ रे, घट में बिजली चमक सुहावे, घट ले बिजली चमक सुहावे, गरजत मेघ अपार सरी, घट का करो विचार सरी, घट का करो विचार रे। घट में तीनों देव विराजे, ब्रह्मा शंभु मुरारी रे, घट में तीनों देव विराजे, ब्रह्मा शंभु मुरारी रे, घट में पूर्ण ब्रह्म निरंजन, घट में पूर्ण ब्रह्म निरंजन, सब जग सरजनहार सरी, घट का करो विचार सरी, घट का करो विचार मन में निश्चय धार रे, जो ब्रह्मा में सोई पिंडे, मन में निश्चय धार रे, ब्रह्मानंद युलति सुर की को, ब्रह्मानंद युलति सुर की को, देखो सकल निहार सरी, घट का करो विचार सरी, घट का करो विचार रे, घट का करो विचार सरी, घट का करो विचार रे।
In this body, devotees, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati. Many of us leave here to go India. Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati. It's right inside. Not big river flowing. Iranari, Pinglanari, Sushumnanari. In the subtle body. Now I won't go in details except to tell you that all these things are inside. Triveni, the confluence of these three rivers, Ganga, Jamuna, Saraswati, they say. In Allahabad, Triveni, right here, center of the forehead. Go in India. You could go there, go Triveni, but you wouldn't wish it in the Triveni. What Brahmanand is saying, all that is in you. All the rivers are in you, all the mountains are in you. The oceans are in you, as that mantra I said. All the rivers, streams, everything, got everything inside here. The beautiful flower gardens, all inside. When you tap into these inner beauties, external beauty doesn't really appeal to you again anymore. Inside you have the sun, the stars, you have the moon shining in all its brilliance. Lightning, thunder, everything on the outside is there inside. Gat me tino devi viraje. This body, Tino Dev, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. The three exist within the human body. You mightn't believe that, eh? But they do. Yeah? Ghat me Puran Brahm Niranjan. That infinite, complete, supreme master exists inside in the form of Atma. Where are you going? Jo Brahmanda Soi Pinde. Man mein nischay dhara re. What is in the microcosm? It is in the microcosm. But that in your mind certainly. And don't look all over the place. The journey is inward. Inward. You go inside, you find everything inside. Waiting peace coming from outside? None of these things, devotees, come from outside. Everything is inside. Now you notice only positive things you're talking about. All the rivers, the streams, the devatas. But I would add my negative to that inside you have Ram as well as Ravan. It's which one you want to bring out. And depends upon which one you tap into, that determines the outcome in your life. This is why we say you're on your own. Each person is on your own. What are you tapping into? What are you tapping into? Life should not be won by living by guess, just going through blind motions. Analyze oneself closely. Because you create your own destiny, devotees. Each person creates your own destiny. And I keep saying there's nothing I could do for you, nor you for me. I can facilitate whatever, I can't do it for you. You can't do it for me. I have to make my choices. And my choices determine what is the outcome, what happens to me. Nobody else. All this obia thing and this somebody do this, all that stupidness is what you do, what you make of yourself. And the power is within each of us to make ourselves into what we want to be, a gem. Self-effulgence, not inner brilliance. But we have to do the right things in devotees, make the right choices. So all these karmas we are carrying out help us on the journey. Ganesh Utsav from Tuesday help us on our journey. If you understand what you're doing. We do everything, as I said when I started, we do everything the same way. You can make your 11 laddu, you can make whatever, but understand a bit higher now what you're doing that for. Get beyond the material, the pure physical that you're accustomed to. Think deeper. Great minds reflect upon principles, mediocre minds upon events, and undeveloped minds upon people. This is why we keep saying that whatever we do, people are there, yes, the event is there, yes, what is the principle that underlies it? If you can't go there, you swim in mud, still in darkness. So devotees, jago, wake up, everybody. And just remember what I said over and over again, you're on your own. When you do it for you. Now I don't really, if you notice, I don't really force people to come Sunday morning service something again, you know, or to do puja and thing. You choose why. Feel free to choose. I know when you do good actions follow. You think otherwise, that's your problem, not mine, not God's problem. You have your own baggage to carry, your own baggage. But devotees, such environment like this one is very, very beautiful. It is conducive. It can motivate us, it can help us. Though sometimes, like when I talk, perhaps it could depress you too, right? Because I'm saying you do something you don't like to hear. Sorry. I was trying to dig you a little bit, to wake you up, to remind you that you are responsible for you. And this is the place you're going to get it. In Gandhi Park here, you can get anything, you know. Some people say get COVID and all too in Gandhi Park. You can get anything you want right here. Come. What you're looking for, you're going to get it. What you seek, you will find. Simple. Yeah? So devotees, remember, the choice is yours. We have freedom of choice. You're on your own. Make wise choices and see the difference in your lives. So this morning I will conclude here. We'll make preparation for the final Havan. And devotees, this might be like a recurring, you know, record this in over and over. But I don't know, if something has impacted upon my mind, I will follow it, right? But when the lesson is not taken, we have to keep repeating it. Keep repeating it. Hoping somewhere or the other it impacts upon the mind and some change is seen. Okay? So devotees, you visualize yourself as you go through this journey of life. Remember, you have your own choices to make. But the important thing, that Lord makes a difference. A simple closing we do here reminds us. Hari 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 Smarana Karo. Hari Charana Kamala Dhyana Dharo.
सेवा करो। मुरली माधव सेवा करो। मुरहरि गिरिधारी भजन करो। मुरहरि गिरिधारी भजन करो। हरि 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 स्मरण करो। हरि चरण कमल ध्यान धरो। मुरली माधव सेवा करो। मुरली माधव सेवा करो। मुरहरि गिरिधारी भजन करो। हे मुरहरि गिरिधारी भजन करो। हरि 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 स्मरण करो। स्मरण करो। स्मरण करो।
Meditate upon our Lord, devotees. His lotus-like feet. Turn to his feet, worship. Seek his feet. That Murli Madhav, whichever form, remember, God makes a difference. And more as we go through life, more and more distractions are going to happen. More and more problems are going to arise. And more we should stick closer to God. It is the only solution to life's problems. बोले वृंदावन श्री कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। Right. So devotees, we do the final havan. Little bit each time, Ambika. Once 5 more times, I will tell you. Om Ganganapataye Namah Swaha. Shri Gauri Mata Swaha. Shri Prithvi Mata Swaha. Panchalokpali Vaya Swaha. Om Namo Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namah Shivaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Swaha. Shri Suryari Naugrahadevaya Swaha. Brahmagnaye Namah Swaha. Om Hrim Shrim Chandikaya Namah Swaha. Om Krim Karyaya Namah Swaha. Mahalakshmi Mata Bhyo Namo Namah Swaha. Om Shrim Hrim Saraswatyaya Swaha. Om Shri Ishwari Devi Swaha. Om Shri Parameshwari Devi Swaha. Om Shri Shitala Devi Swaha. Om Shri Mahanyapurna Devi Swaha. Om Shri Mangala Devi Swaha. Om Shri Chandi Devi Swaha. Om Shri Mansa Devi Swaha. Om Hrim Shashti Devi Swaha. Shri Tara Devi Swaha. Shri Shodasi Devi Swaha. Shri Bhuvaneshwari Devi Swaha. Chanamasta Devi Swaha. Bhairavi Devi Swaha. Dhumavati Devi Swaha. Bagalamukhi Devi Swaha. Shri Matangi Devi Swaha. Om Shri Kamla Devi Swaha. Om Shri Hemavati Devi Swaha. Om Shri Siddheshwari Devi Swaha. Om Shri Kalyani Devi Swaha. Shri Katyayani Devi Swaha. Om Shri Aindri Devi Swaha. Agni Rupa Devi Swaha. Shri Varahi Devi Swaha. Shri Khargadharani Devi Swaha. Om Shri Shurdharani Devi Swaha. Shri Varuni Devi Swaha. श्री मृगवाहिनी देवी स्वाहा, कौमारी देवी स्वाहा, ब्रह्मानी देवी स्वाहा, श्री वैष्णवी देवी स्वाहा, सर्वदेवीभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, श्री हनुमते नमः स्वाहा, सीतारामचंद्राभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, राधा कृष्णाय नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री इष्ट देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री कुल देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री अष्टांग देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री ग्राम देवाय स्वाहा, ओम श्री इतर कर्म प्रधान देवाय स्वाहा, 5 times again, ओम श्री वास्तु देवाय स्वाहा, 33 करोड़ देवताभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, सर्वदेवता सर्वदेवीभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा, अनंत स्वरूपाय ब्रह्मणे नमः स्वाहा, ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः स्वाहा. Offer Paul. Wash your hands in thali. Yadav, choose whatever to wash your hands. Please all stand devotees. Pick a belief, yeah. We concentrate on Bhagavan Shankar. ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शंभवाय च मयोभवाय च, नमः शंकराय च मयस्कराय च, शिवाय च शिवतराय च, ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम पूर्णमिदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम सर्वं वै पूर्णावं स्वाहा. Do Achman 3 times. ओम सर्वपापहरं दिव्यं गांगेयं निर्मलं जलम आचमनं च मया दत्तं गृहतां पुरुषोत्तमः. ब्रह्मग्नये नमः. Bow to the fire. 5 times both of you. Bow to the flame. Om Brahmagnaye namaha. Alright, so we do Arati. Ambika, you all know what to do, right? Om Sajam Chavarti Sanyuktam Vahin Yojitam Maya Deepam Grihan Devese Tailokiti Mirapaham. Om Yani Kani Cha Papani Janmantar Kitani Cha Tani Tani Vinashyanti Pradakshin Pare Pare. Om Agnir Jyotir Jyotir Agni Swaha Suryo Jyotir Jyotir Surya Swaha Agnir Varcha Jyoti Varcha Swaha Suryo Varcha Jyoti Varcha Swaha Jyoti Surya Suryo Jyoti Swaha Deepam Samarpayami. We join together. Jai Jagadish Hari Prarthana. Om Jai Jagadish Hare Swami Jai Jagadish Hare. भक्त जनों के संकट दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे. जो ध्यावे फल पावे दुख बिनशे मन का. सुख संपत्ति घर आवे सुख संपत्ति घर आवे कष्ट मिटे तन का. माता पिता तुम मेरे शरण गहूँ किसकी. बिन आयन दूजा आश करो जिसकी. तुम पूरन परमात्मा तुम अंतर्यामी. पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी. तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता.
कृपा करो भरत, तुम हो एक अगोचर सबके पति। किस विधि मिलऊ दया में तुमको मैं तुमकी, दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे। अपने हाथ उठाओ द्वार पर तेरे, विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा। स्वामी पाप हरो श्रोताज कंप्लीट the आरती महामंत्र। हरे राम हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, बोलो श्री सीताराम 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 जय सीताराम, बोलो श्री राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम, बोलो श्री सीताराम जय राधे श्याम सीताराम जय राधे श्याम, बोलो सीताराम जय सीताराम, बोलो राधे श्याम जय राधे श्याम, सीताराम जय राधे श्याम, शिव हरे राम सखे प्रभु, ते विधताप निवारण हे विभु। अज जनेश्वर यादव पाहिमां, शिव हरे विजयं कुरु मेवरम्, शिव हरे विजयं कुरु मेवरम्। प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मङ्गलं, प्रतिदिनं कुशलं जय मङ्गलम्। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णु मङ्गलं गरुड्ध्वज, मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनुहरिः। ॐ आवाहनं न जानामि, न जानामि विसर्जनं, पूजां चैव न जानामि, क्षम्यतां परमेश्वर परमेश्वरी। ॐ गच्छ गच्छुरश्रेष्ठ स्वस्थाने पुण्यमतिथ। ॐ पुत्रमादाय देवेभ्यः शीघ्र देहि प्रसीद मे। ॐ ब्रह्मज्ञये नमः, सर्वदेवता सर्वदेवी नमो नमः। लाभस्तेषां जयस्तेषां, कुतस्तेषां पराजय, येषामिन्दि वर्षामो हृदयस्तु जनार्दनम्। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं गणेश्वर, हे परमेश्वरी, हे सदाशिव, हे जनार्दन, हे कपीश्वर, यत्पूजितं मे महादेवे देवी, परिपूर्णं तदस्तु मे। ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्युर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ त्वमेव माता च पितः त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः, हरि ओम। बोले श्री गजानन स्वामी की जय, भगवान श्री सत्यनारायण स्वामी की जय, जगदम्बा माता की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, बोलिए श्री स्वाहा माता की जय, बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की शुभमस्तु। Blessings to all. Kindly be seated, devotees. Offer the flowers and bow. Our devotees of this morning, say blessings to everybody. The Yadav and the Ambika, they performed Havan. Blessings to both of you. And keep the life journey going. Remember, we have been saying over and over the power prayer. So, give prayer a chance. The chance. Everything works, but in time. Blessings to both of you. Keep the journey going. And devotees, remember Tuesday, Ganesh Jayanti. So, I think you have been told puja starts around 4:30, and then we'll have offerings. Special day, Ganesh Jayanti. After our offering from 7 o'clock, we'll have our discourse until 8:30. Everything will conclude around then. And then we have continuing for until Sunday next week, Ganesh Utsav celebrations. Next week, Sunday morning, we are not going to have any service. We will conclude our celebrations in the evening time. So instead of morning, we invite you for the evening time, 3 o'clock. We'll begin to finish by 6 so that people can go home a bit early. Alright, so next week, Sunday, there is no service in the morning. But we are concluding our Ganesh Yagya, so to speak, in the evening time, 3 o'clock. So we begin around 3 o'clock. So do join us next week, Sunday. Remember, we have these from Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday evening. So do join us in a very auspicious period of time where we focus and concentrate upon that Lord as Gajanan. We'll hear a lot of things about Lord Ganesh, what he is, what he symbolizes, etc. So do join us. And for Tuesday, well, don't worry about too much about talking about numbers. And remember, don't go and tell anybody upon how they say you're bound to get laddu. I didn't say that. I said don't make it an obsession. You're accustomed getting whatever you're accustomed getting, get it. Right? You want to get your 5 laddu, you want to get the 11 laddu, your 21 laddu, your 54 laddu, your 108, you get whatever you want. Right? Fruits, whatever. Not only laddu. And you know, sometimes my own thinking, I feel Ganesh Baba must be forever laddu man. And especially this kind of time, you want a laddu you're going to get, and all kind. Some dentally challenging too.
You can't even bite it. But no problem, made with love. So whatever you can afford to get, right? Don't force yourself. Don't, when I say don't make it an obsession that you stress out yourself. Get whatever you can. But of course, this doesn't mean to say you don't make a sacrifice. Sometimes people say, punish you to get anything. We're bound to get that. And laziness prevents you from getting it. Don't allow that to happen. You get whatever you have to make a sacrifice, try to get it. And remember, those of you coming to offer, it's good to get doob grass. You know, put some doob in the prasad and bring it along together with you. Also a little bit of sindoor na. Yeah? We offer doob and sindoor for Ganesh Baba. Good offerings. And plus you will do on some whatever you want to offer. So we expect everybody to be here. Do join us. It's a special occasion. It's called Naimitic Karam occasion. Naimitic Karam, you do it, you get plenty blessings. You don't get it, you incur sin. Straight. Right? So not observing these occasions without any justifiable reason, without observing in some form, you incur sin. Sins of omission. Omission. Remember I told you, God didn't need anything. It's we. We have an occasion to celebrate. You celebrate, you get plenty blessings. You fail to, you lose out. So devotees, bear it in mind. And remember this as you go along also. Whatever you do for you. Bear that in mind. And if you don't care about you, then who will care about you? Love yourselves. Believe in yourselves. You are divinity embodied. Do the right things. Stand up. Ambika, Yadav. Tell them what all you want to tell them. Sita. So devotee, we look forward to seeing all of you and more on Tuesday. Blessings.